Hey, what's going on? What's up, Kane fans? How you doing? First of all, what we need to discuss is if you're tuning in, I need to know, for the first people that tune in, I need to know, is the show jerky? Can you hear my audio? Because I'm in a hotel, and I know sometimes the hotel rooms, it gets janky. And I know that's an old school word, janky. But you know, these signals get janky. So please, for the people watching, let me know, can you hear me? Am I slow? Am I moving slow? Is the internet connection decent enough to get this podcast on? Is it decent enough? All right. Audio's good. Okay, that's all that matters then. If the audio is good, that's all that matters. So today, we're going to have on Finesse Mitchell on the show. Very excited about Finesse Mitchell. That's one of my good friends. If you don't know, he played for the Canes in '91, won a national championship, but a lot of people don't know he's a phenomenal comic. He's going to be on. Thank you for all the love, man. Thank you for already popping in. All right. Darian Austin. We got Jimmy Benjamin. We got Alan Kane already in the building. We got some good stuff we're going to talk about today. Let me hit you up with exactly what we're going to talk about, because I wrote it all down. I'm trying to be more organized, because I look up to Dono and people like that. So I'm trying to keep the show tight, as they say. So today we're going to discuss this one position could decide Miami's whole season. We'll talk about what that one position is that could decide the entire season. Also, I want to get your take, if you're in the comments. Is Mario Cristobal finally coaching like a championship coach? I'm talking about player development, game management, recruiting versus results. I mean, we got a lot of things going on, and there are some rumors, some very sad rumors going on right now, that a few staff members for the Miami Hurricanes are up for NFL jobs. Oh, that hurts my soul to hear that. And I was reading a couple Twitter feeds, and it said, don't be surprised when the news comes out. And then what I want to talk to Finesse Mitchell about is 3 players that need to step up to win big for Miami. So without further ado, let's welcome him to the stage. Finesse Mitchell, what's up, my dude? How are you?
What's cracking?
Man,
good morning.
Finesse, the last time we talked, we didn't have Mensah and we didn't have Cooper. Now that it's said and done, what's your thoughts on that?
Natty.
Bro.
Natty.
That's what I'm saying.
Natty.
All day.
Bro,
I mean,
2 phenomenal athletes, 1 great route runner. We got a taller Restrepo, and we got maybe can I dare say it, on a Miami podcast, but we maybe have a more accurate Cam Ward. So I like the 2 additions. Of course, everybody's hating again. But Mario is playing the same game that everybody is playing, and he's playing it very well. I could definitely see Mario going to the NFL, even if not as a coach, but as a GM, the way he's moving these chess pieces around and able to deliver on what we actually need to make us or stay competitive in a tight.
Is this offense going to be more explosive than 2024?
I think it should be. I think the offense was explosive in 2024 because Cam extended plays, and you used to hear me I used to always say Carson Beck doesn't change a lot of plays. He's in a press conference after a loss saying they sent in the play, I ran it.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
But Carson Beck isn't that dude, and you don't want him to change plays. Carson Beck, and we all talked about this. Carson Beck is the dude that if he doesn't get the ball out in 2.2 seconds and he starts patting it, that's when all the trouble starts. Once it gets pat, once he starts,
they're coming.
Because Carson Beck's strength was reading the defense so fast that he knew where he was going to go with the ball right from the jump. And I still say it to this day, and I know we moved past it, but that throw was the right throw. It was just not a good throw. He knew exactly where to go with that ball. That's what I say. I know Ballman was open. I know. I saw it. Ballman was open straight, and Malachi was breaking. I saw it, but that's still, if that ball is placed in the
Malachi breaks in midfield, that ball should have been in the air. It was, he could have made the throw. Cam could have made the throw. Mensah could have made the throw. The safer throw, not going for it all when you still got another 55 seconds left, would have been the Carson Beck that led us down the field during Ole Miss with 1:30 to go. So, you know, it's over. It's we were very competitive. We definitely didn't embarrass ourselves.
No.
But this year, you said name the 3 players. If we're there, are we at that point? Or do you
no, but let's jump into it. Name 3 players that have to come up big for us to make it all the way. That, because I think my 3 are going to be different from your 3.
Shannon Dawson, and Shannon. I don't think you picked that player, Playboy.
No, I did not. Shannon Dawson.
I'm saying Playa. You're actually saying Player, like
yes, yeah, on the field. Yeah, on the field.
Of course, everything starts with the quarterback. You need great quarterback play. You cannot get around not having great quarterback play in the NFL or college. So I'm going to start with Darian Mensah, or Darian Mensah. Is his name Darian?
Darian Mensah.
Mensah. So I'm going to start with Mensah. I do not know who our left tackle will be. So whoever that guy is, if we're going to get back to the Natty, he at least has to play like Maui Noah did in his freshman year, at minimum.
At minimum, 100%. At minimum.
And then I would say defensively, our 39-year-old middle linebacker.
Torrey or Chase?
Which one is older? One is 42 and one is 39.
The one is 39. I think so. They both ready to get their AARP papers. So,
but whoever's playing middle.
So
Torrey. Not only do you have to be a captain on the defense and hold the defense together, but you have to last, because I feel like the people that are coming behind you, I trust everything about our cornerback room. I trust the guys coming back. I don't worry there. I love the freshmen coming in. I love the veteran leadership coming in from the kid from Florida State. And I love who we already have back there. I didn't want to see Amari Wallace leave, but you know, the writing was on the wall with that. But I really do think our middle linebacker and Ahmad Moulton should captain our defense. And I think if those 2 guys, along with Corey Heatherman, you know, are on the same page as run it back and hard work and green tree, and I think we'll be all right.
So
those are my
if you're watching,
Ray, is it Cantwell, or is it, see, that's the thing. Is it a freshman, or are we shifting somebody? Okunlola.
Yeah.
Are we doing the Merriweather from Georgia? Are we pushing McCoy out? That's very important to protect the blind side, because now, you know, you got a right-handed quarterback.
Well, I will say this. For the people watching right now, the 2 questions we got going on is, what is one position you think that's going to decide Miami's entire season? And also, what are the 3 players you think that need to step up for us to have a successful season? Leave it in the comments right now. This is my take. I think it starts with center. Honestly, I don't know who's going to be, if it's Ryan Rodriguez, if it's SJ. To me, because we saw Brockemeyer, even though in the playoffs he played phenomenal, Miami's offense could be affected if the center is pushed back into the backfield. We saw that plenty of times during the season with Brockemeyer. And I think teams, look, our offensive line is going to be solid. We all know. Is it going to be better than this year? We don't know, but it will be solid. And why I'm confident in the offense.
I saw footage of him in the Senior Bowl practice going up against the top senior defensive tackle. Killing them. I was like, there's nobody on your left. There's nobody on your right. It's all you. Killing them. I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
okay.
The dudes, yeah. So my thing is center. My thing is who's going to be center, because to me, it's about the center getting pushed back, because I think teams will look at the tape, just like Louisville did, and be like, all right, next year we're going to, whoever center is, we're going to push it from the center and push them back into the backfield. I think center is very, very important. I think the other thing is, I also think the other defensive end, I think they got the Wilson kid out of Missouri, who's going to be great, right? He's put up numbers. Derek Wilson, I think his name is. The other defensive end, huh?
Not Derek, but I think we got another Damon Wilson.
Damon Wilson, whatever. Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the, But my thing is, I think that other defensive end. I think our tackles are great on defense. You got Justin Scott, and you got Blunt, and you got Moten. We're great at defensive tackle. My thing is that
off that end and
with that end, Marquise Lightfoot, I hope that he can gain 20 pounds, because if that dude gets to 250, that's another Jason Taylor right there. That's Jason. You don't think so?
You've seen his frame, bro. I mean,
yeah.
I think 250 would actually slow him down, but I think if he plays at 235, 240 coming off that edge, the way they're using him,
yes.
If you watch a lot of Marquise Lightfoot tape, he does run plays down from behind and crashes in sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen him set the edge the way Ruben Bain had the throw on one arm and the dude still trying to get around him in the That was like anybody who plays DN and you want to know what the NFL looks for. They look for that. Sacks are nice, but can you hold the edge? Remember in the Louisville game when he just stayed in his position and the dude ran and saw him and
and turned back around?
He ran back to the other way, right into what's the other guy? Mezzador. Oh,
you know what was amazing about Bain, and you see this on so much tape because so many people like cut up tape and they put the clips on this, how violent he was and how he would just grab a person and throw them, like throwing 300-pound dudes like and just throwing them, which blew me away. Because, when you're watching the game, you just see him in the backfield, but you don't see what he really did to get there. A lot of times, like he's taking grown men and just throwing them. And I don't know, right now with Marquise being like 230, I don't know if Marquise is that dude. To me, he's more like a speed rusher, like that blitz package they put in. But whether or not he's going to have to step up next year. So he's another big player. And like you said, I'm with linebackers. I don't think it's about Toure. We know who Toure is. This is his 20th year in the college football team, playing college. So we know what he is. I think it's all about Bonner, the other linebacker. You don't know him?
I watched Bonner stand on the sideline. And for Bonner not to get one series or either one game where I know his name and can have tape to look at in the Miami uniform, that spoke volumes to me, because I like Chase Smith, but I was excited to see Kevin Wiley, right?
Yes, that's who I want to see, Kevin Wiley.
I wanted to see Kevin Wiley and Popo take over for Toure and Bissett and it just didn't happen, and we lost Popo. Because for whatever reason, I don't even know if it's cool to say this, but at some point as a personnel guy, you got to let some people go. I think Toure got you as far as he's going to get you. That's awesome. But I think with success in 2026, Michael, for half of the country to say, wait, the middle linebacker is 32? that says a lot about the program, bro. And no fault to Toure. If you get an extra year, take your extra year. But Chase Smith and Toure coming back at the same time, I just really you have your recruiting. You gotta allow people to trust you across that kitchen table, man.
Yeah.
You just at some point you gotta say, hey, Darian Coleman, I promise you, in your junior year, after I told you to trust me for 2 years, I am not going to bring in you got to let these kids play, man, if you think they're up to it. So I thought that was low-hanging fruit for middle linebacker. I thought we were pretty stacked, but to bring those two super seniors back, I was just like,
Okay,
Okay.
so this is what we don't know. This is what we don't know, and I think this kind of figured into it.
Come on, Bonner, play, bro.
I think he was hurt. I think he was hurt all year. That's why. I think he
Okay.
was pretty much hurt. But I think what we don't know and what the coaches do know, how great he could be for that locker room, both guys. You know, I think in Corey Heatherman remember Corey Heatherman did this in his first year. This is his second. It always jumps the second year. And what better way than if I'm Corey Heatherman, hey, at least I know I'm good at middle linebacker. You know, with a guy that knows the system. Torrey, he's been through 2 terrible ACL tears, had to build back. That shows resilience right there. I don't mind Chase and Torrey being back. But yes, you're right. The younger people need to eat, but I think you're going to see Wiley. What happened to the dude that didn't play at all that played the year before that we liked? Aldridge was his name?
Alderman.
Alderman. What happened to him?
On the bench. On the bench. And he is coming back as well.
Okay. Well,
I just think if your middle linebacker and outside linebacker are older than your defensive coordinator, at some point you got to start saying, wait a minute, who's the coach? They not going to class, bro. Them dudes are leaving AutoZone, they real day job, and going straight to practice. And I just think that kind of messes up the college landscape when it comes to player, student, athlete.
They say Alderman is graduated. So this dude just rode the man. I was so excited about Alderman. I thought he could do something at Miami. But you know what's great is Miami is building and they're getting better players. But I do think look, whether or not we like Indiana or not, it shows that, you know, veterans help. They help locker rooms. They help keep it. And when you losing your main leaders like Bain, Messador, you're losing Keontae Scott, you're losing Smith. Like I think you need that leadership. And if I was Corey Heatherman, I would want Torrey back. I would want Chase Smith back. I would want people that's been in that locker room because no matter what, man, the culture can't change now. And here's my question: we're all. And let me
who I would pick between Jacoby Thomas or Keontae Scott. If I could pick one person in that on the back end that's not a D lineman, I saw those two dudes. I saw Keontae Scott chew out Jacoby Thomas so bad in one playoff games, and I was like, I could almost hear him. And I'm like, you know what? Hold that dude accountable, bro.
Yes.
And tell him to hold number 7 accountable for not wrapping up. Like, how many tackles are you going to miss when you're right there to make the play?
Yes.
What's his name? From Jacksonville? Poiser. I mean, you can't have an outstanding game at Texas A&M and then all of a sudden the next 2 games, I'm like, is Poiser tackling with his eyes open? Because it doesn't look that way, bro. And so in the Ole Miss game and then in the championship game, he was like, yo. And Keontae had a very quiet game in the championship game. I think they purposefully avoided him.
Yes,
and
they did.
Didn't run toward his side when the box was stacked. They didn't throw to his side on his guy. And that's when they put old boy, who, you know, basically helped them win the game, number 80 or whatever his name is, who kept eating up Ethan O'Connor. They put him on the outside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody noticed that, but they shift their personnel and put old boy on the outside on Ethan O'Connor, and he ate on those last 2 days.
Chris Bradford said, if Poiser wraps up, he's an All-American. He's already got the ball skills. Can he force fumbles?
I've never seen a DB in a position to make a play so many times, and sometimes he lowers the boom. But I don't know. You saw the games. Sometimes you're like, dang. You know, the guy's still running. Oh, game. We're trying to strip the ball. Oh, how about we just make the tackle, man?
Yeah, because I think that's and I think one thing you brought up about a month and a half ago that you need to get the message because you know all the players, you know some coaches. Put your hands up when they throw the ball. That's one thing I never really thought about. But our defensive line does not put their hands up when the ball is thrown. I don't know if that's not coached, but it seems like. I know Oklahoma, they're taught if they can't make it to the quarterback, at least get your hands up. If we don't
Right.
make it to the quarterback, you hardly ever, unless it's a defensive end, you hardly ever see hands go up. And our dudes are tall. They're 6'5", 6'4", 6.
Yeah.
Put your hands up. So I don't know if that's not taught, but it seems to me that's something Miami should take because they're just so big. You know what I mean?
The kid from Nebraska excites me. I'm like, oh, our defense.
Yes.
That was the missing piece. Somebody that long, that muscular, with that type of man strength. We just need you to, like, if Moulton gets a push, I don't know if you watch this kid's swim technique. He's pretty good on the inside.
Yeah.
And so I just think the defense, once again, will be stout. I'm making a prediction. This is Corey Heatherman's last year.
You think he'll be a head coach?
It's definitely Shannon Dawson's last year. And so, yeah. And they got the right personnel in there to make them look even better, bro. So, yeah.
All right. The one position that could decide Miami's entire season, if you had to pick one position group, what would it be? To me, it's very easy.
Position group. I am going to go with the O-line.
See, we're the same thing. 100%. 100%.
We don't know who's who and who's what. And people have to understand that Inez Cooper and Maui Noah were playing together for at least 8 years. Them two.
3 years. No, okay. They're not old. 3 years.
That's a long time to be having where you know how they play. And the nastiness of Maui Noah becoming that guy who would get behind the blockade that got stagnated for a second and push it towards a first down. Some freshmen, you know what I mean? I don't know if that translates to them. Just like the D linemen holding their hands up, you don't know if that translates to some people. We got a lot of first downs and touchdowns because Maui Noah came from behind and pushed people across the goal line to push people first down. Inez Cooper dragged a lot of our running backs down the field when they got caught up in a tackle. So the nastiness of an O-line and Brockemeyer was even better than Matt Lee. And we don't know who's going to play to the left of whoever our new center is.
We don't know who's going to play center. Exactly.
We don't even know who's going to play center, which is so important. But they're very high. They've always been high on Ryan Rodriguez. They've always and they've tried to find snaps for AJ Tupalopa.
SJ.
And then that left tackle. Are we putting McCoy out there? Are we putting Sampson out there? So Mario and what's his buddy? The
Mirabal?
The coach. Mario
Mirabal.
And Mirabal.
Yeah.
They got a lot of work to do. They got to find synergy. They got to find connectivity. They got to find leadership because the only person that's coming back is who? Okunlola and McCoy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ryan Rodriguez. I mean, you got a lot of pieces that have played at Miami. They just haven't been on the field a lot. Except Pancake, he played half the snaps. McCoy was out there. Ryan Rodriguez at times. SJ would be in the big packages when they would run the ball with an extra lineman. So,
but here's to choose a haircut.
Who?
I'm gonna need Pancake to choose a haircut. That's it. Go ahead. Sorry.
My thing is the offensive line too. I think the defensive line, the way Heatherman coaches, is going to be no matter who's out there. Look, here's what people that are worried about the defense. Let me put it at ease right now. Heatherman was a top 20, maybe top 15 defense. I think top 10 in Minnesota with those athletes.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be fine with whoever Miami brings in. So when I hear people even talk about the defense, I'm like, shut up. Just shut.
Right.
He did this with I think he was top 10 with Minnesota's defense, or top 15 for sure. Miami, He was great. And he has athletes that he's never had before. So Miami's going to be fine on defense. I think it's more of an offensive line issue, you. But also when I look at Mensah, he had Duke's offensive line, and look what he did. Right. So I think our worst offensive line is just as good as Duke's offensive line, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but no, because Duke's offensive line won them the ACC. And I know they lost a lot of games, but Virginia was no slouch. And those guys have been playing together for a while. That offensive line and that the way people play together and the way you trust each other, it's just not built overnight, man. We had those guys that took us to the championship. We saw them in their freshman year. You remember how Inez Cooper came in and what he looked like and what he
Yeah.
weighed, and all that
Yep.
stuff, where he got to in 3 years. It just clicked for him. Maui Noah was always that dude, but it clicked for him in year 2. Like nobody was getting to the quarterback in year 2.
Yeah.
And then underrated and underappreciated. McCoy is really good, bro.
Yeah. Really good.
McCoy is really good. So when you put those guys next to a Brockermeyer like they did, and then lo and behold, the reason we went to the chip, bro, was because I don't know his first name, but Bell, he played an outstanding season.
I wish he would have stayed. I wish he would have stayed.
I'm going to tell you this way, Miami fans. If you remember Zion Nelson, and then think about how Markel Bell played, where you never had to call Markel Bell's name for getting beat, like getting the brakes beat off of you, the way we had to throw Zion Nelson into the fire his sophomore year. It was so that went underrated. That was an underrated player for us, but everybody took notice. And yeah, man, we had a dream season, Michael. Yo, that was crazy with Carson Beck. That's crazy.
So I want to give a shout out to Heatherman. Also, I think a guy that gets overlooked a lot, D. Lou. Lou, I mean, he did miracles with those defensive tackles. I think he did a great job with them. I think Jason Taylor did a great job. You know, I see a lot of people in the comments saying if Heatherman does leave, Jason Taylor will be defensive coordinator. But my thing is, I don't really care who's defensive coordinator. I would adopt, if I was Jason Taylor, I would be adopting Heatherman's style of defense because that fits the type of player Miami always has, if that makes sense.
I think this is a great opportunity for Jason Taylor to learn from a person who is coaching a scheme on defense where your secondary and your linebackers are playing so in sync that if you have the right athletes, you're like, wow, this guy's really shining. Well, he's always in the right position. And you had the right athlete. You know what I mean? We had Takori Couch. Well, I actually think Keontae Scott was better than him. You know what I mean? So how did we upgrade at that position? Well, they went out and they really looked at film and they said, oh, we're going to bring in Keontae. Oh, we're going to bring in Jacoby Thomas. Oh, we've had safeties before. They didn't play like that.
What's interesting?
Since Cam Kitchens, maybe.
You know what's interesting is people tend to overlook. They pulled those 2 players when they had their worst season the year before too. You know what I mean? So that just shows you that they're saying, oh, the tape shows that he can fit what we do, not about his last season, but what he brings. He can fit into this defense. And that's what's so great about Heatherman's mind is that he goes, I don't care what type of season they had the year before, but what they do fits my scheme.
And what I want to give Mario a shout out to is like, you got to hire your staff, and your staff has to perform a certain way. Your staff is out there scouting and bringing you tape on a Keontae Scott saying, yo, he's out of position. He's playing cornerback. But look at the year before when he was playing nickel, Mario. Trust me, we need to get this dude. They pull the trigger. It even makes sense, bro, when they're saying, hey, we're going to go after this kid at Boston College. Boston College sucks. Yeah, but watch this kid. So I'm like, you know what? That's the staff, bro. When they go out and they do player personnel, I just think they're doing a phenomenal job filling in holes. Because it makes you go and watch the Boston College tape and say, well, what do they see in this kid? Oh,
he's kind of like Keontae Scott coming up or Jacoby Thomas. Oh, okay.
It's almost more dogs around him. Oh,
you know what's crazy is you've been on television shows. I have too. Everybody has a character, right? Mm-hmm. You have a funny guy, then you have the serious person, then you have it's almost like this defense is filled in by the same character of person. Like, hey, Keontae Scott is the hitter. We need to find a hitter that's not scared to run up and close and get into that and rush the quarterback and hit running backs as hard as they can when they cross the line of scrimmage. So Thornton, boom, there you go. You know, because we all said, I remember us saying, 0 rushing, zero, the number 0 rushing is not like 13 rushing. Like it's two different levels. And no disrespect to Bryce, but when Keontae came off the corner and Bryce, it's two different energies. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bryce is a ball hawk, man. He's a ball hawk. Keep him back there.
And I've never seen Fitzgerald come up and lay the wood to anybody.
No.
It's not like his skill set is not needed. But if you put his skill set next to somebody like that kid in Boston College, then you're like, oh, that's a nice little tandem.
You know what it is? It's
like it makes you appreciate Ed Reed when you watch some Ed Reed tape because you're like,
because he could do both.
He could do both.
But Bryce Fitz, man, let me tell you, that dude. Even when he first got to camp, you heard he's a ball hawk. For some reason, the ball just finds him. And you saw that play out in real life. That's why I'm like, that dude should have a free pass and run wherever he wants around the field and just hawk. Because that dude is unbelievable.
It's all instincts, but you have to not be afraid to be wrong.
Yes.
Because you can jump
you will be wrong. You will be wrong sometimes.
You will be. You can jump a route and your man does a stop and go. And now you stuck on the 10-yard line and he running the post and you just you on ESPN that night. Not in a good way. Yeah. But when you trust your instincts like Keontae Scott did in the Ohio State game and jumped a route, he looked at the formation, he remembered the tape. He said, I bet you there's a 90% chance they about to do a bubble screen. I'm going to just, you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if you right. You are legendary if you are right. You get to do goals at the end in the end zone if you are right. You get to wave at the other sideline as you walk, jogging into the end zone if you're right. And I was very upset. I've forgiven him now because this game should have been a blowout. But when Dylan Day dropped that pick six, that would have made you a household name in Miami history. Yeah, that one pick six during that game at that moment, people would have been like, "Oh, we good next year."
Yeah,
but when you drop it, they like, "Oh, you said there's a kid at Florida State named Hussey, and there's a kid at that." Oh, I need some more people.
But one thing,
you gotta jump on your opportunities.
On my next podcast, I'm gonna talk.
Right? So it's like stand up. You walk in town and somebody's like, man, I'm such a big fan, man. I was just wondering if I can get a guest spot. And you say, go up there and do 7 minutes. And then they shocked, like, huh?
Yeah.
Then it's what you wanted? Go do 7 minutes. He's gonna start the show. What's your name again? Y'all know him? Okay, start the show. He's gonna bring you up first, and then the feature, then me. And they get up there.
Well, the next podcast I'm going to talk about is Mario Cristobal finally coaching like a championship coach, which I see a lot of comments about Mario. I think, like, I don't want to get into that topic this time, but I do like the direction. We took less portal dudes. I think it's more about him being an amazing GM now. You know what? We as fans, and I say this all the time, when you look at these experts on TV, I want to let everyone know that if you do your research, you're just as educated as they are, because we have all this. Because 10 years ago, we didn't have all the access. Like, you had to watch TV to know the stats of a game. Now I can go online and get the same stats they can right after the game as well. So now when you hear podcasts like us, when you hear Finesse, when you hear me, especially when it's so concentrated on one team, I will go out and say my information is just as good as Herb Street's. Because I'm in Miami, because I'm in Miami every day. We talk about the team. I know more than her. That's why once a year, and you've seen it, if I don't bet, but there is once a year, there's always a bet that goes against Miami, and they're like, Miami's only going to win by 3 touchdowns. But you watch the team. It happened it happened 2 years ago with Cam Ward. It was a team they were playing. They were only favored by like 15 points. And you're like, oh, they don't watch the team.
Right.
Because I know Miami won by like 5-6 touchdowns. And that's a
Right.
bet I took. I do take those bets like that. But what I'm saying is we cover this team so much. We know everything about this team. I will put my knowledge against any of the experts that don't focus in on Miami because we have all
Right.
the same access. And that's why I feel that all these people that watch, and that's why this show has built and keeps building. Thank you so much for going over 3,500. We're almost at 3,600 people now. So we're going up like 100 people a week, which is crazy. It's crazy. But that's the thing. We have passion. Finesse, 91 team. You were around it. I like to tell people about you. Phenomenal stand-up comedian. 91 team. I mean, you've been there. You've seen it. You've seen it. Give some insight on that real quick. So the people that are just seeing you on this show.
You know what? I'm glad you gave me this opportunity because as you was talking about Marquise Lightfoot earlier and different people on our D-line, one of the most impressive pass rushers I've ever seen in college football was on the 1991 Miami Hurricanes team, and his name was Rusty Medeiros.
Mm-hmm.
He legendary, iconic. If you ever want to see a white boy come off the edge and beat the brakes off of anybody in college football, it was Rusty Medeiros. And he was built totally different from Reuben Bain, but it was just a joy to watch. And he blew out his knee, and they didn't have the type of updated knowledge and technology that they do now to repair your knee in 4 weeks. But Google Rusty Medeiros. That is my era. Also, what I'm impressed about in that 91, that just those early 90s, when they used to say Catholics versus convicts, it wasn't just a slight because Miami was from Miami in the 305 and the city was filled with. There were actually criminals on the team. They were in school, but when they pulled up in a car, you didn't want to ride home in it because you don't know where that car came from.
Exactly.
It was type of guys, and they were all great guys, nice guys, but they always had backup plans for if football didn't work. And a lot of those backup plans didn't mean I'm going to go get a job from my booster,
Yes.
who look out for me at this auto dealership. No, it was like, oh, we leaving here with something. It was that mentality. You know?
I'm leaving here with something.
Leaving here with something. And so what I also want, when you started talking about Mario, I started clapping because I said, wow, when they talk about culture, I'm actually seeing it. Because I don't see Miami's players in the news for nonsense, you know, and I see everybody graduating. Now, we had a lady named Anna Price, who's no longer with the program, but she made sure everybody graduated and everybody had a certain GPA. That was my downfall when I played. I had a 1.5 2 years in a row. They were like, yo, you can't go to the bowl game. You got to have a 2.0 at least. So, you know, there were so many distractions, and Miami was such a great
women.
So many distractions, bro. But I'm very excited for next year, and just that 91 team. They won the national championship with a guy named Warren Sapp that just used to wreak havoc up the middle. And so I know what those teams can look like. We didn't see those same teams until we got a Vincent Wilfork coming up with those other speedsters coming off the edge. And those defenses were incredible. Philip Buchanan and all those guys in the secondary. So we know when Mario keeps saying we know what it's supposed to look like, he's right. And so when I see the depth and I see the type of athletes that are on the field now, I just think he's doing a phenomenal job. Not only winning games and coaching better and calling timeouts at the right time and saving timeouts for the right time. He's just in his bag. He's coaching better. So, you know, we get Shannon Dawson calling the right plays for Darian Mensah. I feel like the sky's the limit next year. We're going to have more haters because we're going back to the playoffs.
I think we're going to, I think, like I said in my last podcast, I think it's great that for things to fall apart for Miami next year, where the wheels just fall off, they're 9-3. You know, if things go right, I think they win a national championship. And not because I'm a homer, it's because if you just look at the roster on offense, Like it's literally unstoppable. It's almost like the Cam Ward, except way better players and specialty players. You know what I mean? Way better receivers, way better defense, way better everything. So
we got 4 Cam Wards on the field at same times in their respective position.
100, and that's what I'm saying, man. Like to me, this team, and not because I'm a homer, I just think if I hate to sound like this, but if we don't make the playoffs, it's a disaster. Which I think we will make the playoffs, but it's almost like you're expecting to go to the national championship, because the one warning I will give Mario, and I'm gonna say it every podcast because hopefully someone close to him will tell him, you can't take your foot off the brakes on any team. You have to beat every team as bad as possible, because when it comes down to the playoff picture, they're always going to say ACC is the weakest conference and they only beat this team by 14 or 15 points or 21 points. Right now, you have a team that could literally go on the field and beat every team, pretty much every team, by at least 21, 28 points, you know, at least. And if it's, I don't care if it's Boston College and you're playing them and you're up 21 in the fourth quarter, you got to win by 35. Because we saw last year that Riddick guy, Louis Riddick, was like, well, this isn't an impressive win. And we were up by 21 points. This isn't an impressive win, because they always want to make excuses not to put Miami in. So please, if you're close to Mario, let him know. And I know that goes against his coaching because he's a respectful guy. But in today's landscape, they will find any way to keep Miami out of the playoffs. So you got to beat every team as bad as you can. And
that's old
Miami. And at the same time, get players in. Here's a great thing, though. Even when you put in backups now, I don't even call them second string. They're just the second wave of first team. Because you go Fletcher, Brown, Pringle, I mean, everybody kills. The receivers are 3 deep. I mean, go ahead.
Real quick, what do you think about that, bro? You got
it's incredible.
The ball though. What do you think about that traffic jam in the running back room?
You know what I think is going to happen though, and I think
you can actually pass the ball. That's half your plays. He's not coming there to hand the ball off 60 times.
Okay, this is my prediction, Finesse. I think all 4 backs, this is going to be crazy. I think all 4 backs go over 400, 500 yards. And let me tell you why. It's because I really feel there will be a lot of blowouts and everybody's going to eat. I feel that Fletcher will be in a lot of games, won't even play the second half. You know, maybe the first series is, because I feel a lot of teams will get blown out and Marty Brown's going to eat. I feel like all of them going to, I would be shocked if not all the running backs had over 400 yards next year. Fletcher being the most, Marty Brown, Lyle, whoever, but they all going to eat next year, because I feel the offensive talent of this team is going to be absolutely just mind-blowing. I think Cam Ward times 2, because look, you had, and I love Restrepo, I talk to him all the time, but you got this Cooper kid that's a bigger extra. You got Malachi Tony, who should have been All-American, not just fresh, but All-American this year. Like, you got these specialty players that are absolutely insane. And it's the type of thing where Mensah can throw a screen and Malachi Tony can take it all the way. Or a lot of the players from South Carolina, that receiver that's coming in. So to me, this offense, the only thing that's going to stop this offense, and that's our question, is the offensive line. And if they get that straight, oh my goodness, this is a very, very dangerous team. Like, I can see Mark Fletcher not even starting all the games. I can see them going, hey, Lyle, you start this one. Hey, Pringle, you start this one. Hey, Marty Brown, you start this one. Because you remember, the more hits you take at a running back, the lower your NFL career is. So I think they're going to look out for Mark Fletcher like that as well. They're going to want to win, but they also know they got 3 other running backs as well. So I think it's going to be spread out evenly. I think all 4 running backs, I'm saying it right now, will go over 400 yards. I don't think any of the 4 gets left out. I think you may not see one in the game, but I think the next game or the game after, they'll start or play a lot, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Finesse, where you at? Where can people find you, man?
Man, we are at, and when I say we, I mean the legendary Tisha Campbell from The Martin Show. Our next show is February the 19th, Thursday, and February 20th, Friday night at Mic Drop Comedy Club in San Diego. If you're in the San Diego area, salute. We coming your way. Go to finessemitchell.com or go to micdropcomedy.com.
And I am in Toledo, Ohio tonight. So it's 2 degrees and I'm watching it snow right now, but I'm loving it. The show last night was awesome. If you want to check me out, you can here. Next week, I'm at the Orlando Funny Bone. The week after that, I'm in Kansas City for Valentine's Day weekend. But the thing I want to share with all the Canes fans, I told you this, I'm going to start booking shows around games. The Stanford game is September 4th. September 3rd, I am at Cobb's Comedy Club on a Thursday night. It will sell out. It sells out every time I go there. 400 or 500 people. So September 3rd, if you're a Miami fan and you're going to that game, get tickets. And then also November 6th, downtown Chicago, I will be at the Den Theater. Tickets for both of these shows go on sale in July, but I will be at the Den, and that's November 6th, and November 7th, I'm going to the Notre Dame game. Hopefully Finesse can join me for one of those. It'll be fun.
Somebody got to protect you, so I think I'm going to pull up.
There you go. There you go. All right, Finesse, have a great one. And for everybody watching, thank you for your subscriptions. It means so much. It's free. And I'm living out my dream because the national championship this year is in Las Vegas. I live in Las Vegas. I will throw a party. And then the season kicks off in Las Vegas the next year against Utah in 2027 at Allegiant Stadium. So let's go, Canes. Let's go, Canes. All right, Finesse, have a good one, my man.
Yo.
All right, later.